What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Broke Man Finance. My name is Adam Wilson, and today we're talking about a growth stock that no one else is talking about. Whenever I think about a growth stock, the one thing I think is the most important is innovation, as opposed to a dividend paying stock, which would be consistency. This growth stock is nothing but innovative. Over the past 5 years, their share price is up almost 204%. That is 40% per year average growth. Now, the stock I'm talking about is AXON. AXON, formerly known as Taser International, and they're known exactly for that reason, tasers. But they have changed the game on body-worn cameras for police officers, and more importantly, video storage capabilities and software. AXON is continuing to develop less lethal weapons, and they are changing the way policing is done across the entire world. AXON said that their goal is to eventually, within this decade, make the bullet obsolete. Whether you hate the police or you love the police, this is a stock and a company that both sides can come to invest in and not have this feeling of compromising your morals or values, because everybody's after the same goal. With all the civil unrest going on with protests and police-involved shootings, do you believe that the market for less lethal options and the way we record these events, do you think that market is going anywhere? Of course not. If anything, that demand is only getting higher and higher. But before we go any further, if you would do me a favor and smash that like button, and if you're feeling inclined, you like the video, you like us, please feel free to subscribe. Let's talk about the market and the demand. In 2017, AXON's revenue grew 28%. In 2018, they grew 22%. And last year alone, they grew another 26%. AXON has pretty much monopolized this law enforcement market. The interesting thing to me is cameras aren't a new thing. We all have one in our pockets. But AXON is the only real player in the law enforcement space with their body-worn cameras, just like tasers. And they're just big enough that if anybody wants to compete with them, they just buy them out, keeping that moat very wide. But it's not the camera that actually separates them. It's the cloud storage and software. Police departments are looking for that video retention at an affordable cost because that data storage is stupid expensive. Also, police and law enforcement, the evidence has to stay secure. Evidence security and retention is a big deal, and that's where the value is, and that's the difference between AXON and just somebody else throwing a GoPro on their chest. Tasers are probably the most well-known product produced by AXON. Over the past few years, tasers have finally become a standardized piece of equipment for all police departments, just like pepper spray was back in the day. In the past, tasers were reserved for these bigger departments with these bigger budgets, and these smaller departments just couldn't afford them. Most departments across the country still cannot afford body-worn cameras for their officers. All right, today AXON closed out at $99.37. And I'm not going to bore you with all the graphs, but you can see right here, it's just been a steady climb. And right around here is when body cams really started getting in high demand. So you can just see it's just been marching upward ever since. But you can see that that's a pretty good number, right? 208% over the past 5 years. Today it was up another percent or so. Right here, I've only got $1 in the game right now because I just wanted to put it in my portfolio so I didn't have to search it every time. I'm being lazy. I haven't put, I'm wanting to put at least $2,500 into this one at the onset, which for me, at Broke Man Finance, is a big position. But I really want it to drop down a little bit more, but I'm not going to wait on it forever. And you can see right here, analysts have it at a 62% buy and a 38% hold. But, you know, I think it's more of a buy than a lot of the analysts. I think just because I actually use their products and most people don't really understand it. And that may be why only 71% or 7,100 people on Robinhood own this stock, own this company. So if you look over here at AXON, one thing that I liked about it is they got a really low beta. The beta is only 0.74, so the volatility on this thing is pretty low. When I talk about AXON being innovative, They have the taser, which has been around for years and years, but departments are just now getting to a point where it's a standard piece of equipment. Departments now, for the past few years, especially post-Ferguson, have been trying to get body-worn cameras in their departments and on their officers. The majority of officers across this country still don't have body-worn cameras, so they're still catching up with AXON. AXON's already still improving the taser and the body-worn camera, and they've already moved on to other less lethal weapons, training aids, and other things. They're not catching up with anybody. The world is still trying to catch up with AXON. That's what makes that moat so doggone wide. Because the world is still trying to catch up with AXON, and AXON's already 10 steps ahead of everybody. Innovation. They own the taser space, they own the body-worn camera space, they're introducing new less lethal products, new training aids, and that's a vision that can change the world. Now, whether you hate less lethal options or you hate the police in general, you cannot deny the fact that their taser product has saved countless lives for officers and citizens alike, and at the same time they have exposed more bad officers and have saved more good officers than anything else we've ever come across. I call AXON the Tesla of the criminal justice system. So if AXON is Tesla, who is Elon Musk? Elon would be their CEO, Rick Smith. Rick is a Harvard grad with several other degrees. He started this company in his garage, and the company is now housed in Arizona. Listen to what Rick says in his latest shareholder letter. We ended 2019 with $396 million in cash equivalents and investments, zero debt, and an underlying business that generates strong cash flow and high margin recurring revenues. Revenue grew 26% to $531 million last year, driven by demand for our latest generation camera, the AXON Body 3, the cloud-connected Taser 7, and our cloud software. Our bottom line performance reflected our ability to scale manufacturing of Taser 7, continued growth of higher margin AXON cloud software revenue, up 41% for the year, and cost discipline. While net income was affected by catch-up stock compensation expense from our highly innovative exponential stock performance and CEO plans, we delivered a record $88 million in adjusted EBITDA for the full year, up 43%, and quarter 4 2019 adjusted EBITDA more than tripled to $38 million, reflecting a 22% margin. If you don't know what EBITDA is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. Basically the core revenue when you take all the other BS out. What did the company make? Now, why am I doubling down on this company and getting ready to make it one of my biggest holdings in my portfolio? Listen to this other piece from the shareholder letter. AXON remains fully committed to its mission to protect life. In my 2019 book, The End of Killing, I laid out our moonshot. Before this decade is out, we will deliver a non-lethal weapon that will outperform a traditional handgun in terms of reliable stopping power. I've seen early prototypes and I'm pretty excited. There will come a day when frontline officers in threatening situations reach for their taser devices first, before their firearms, not out of the goodness of their hearts, but because they know it will actually work better and keep them safer. And this will lead to a better outcome for everyone. With their vision, moral compass, revenue, innovation that can change the world, and I don't know if you heard me mention zero debt, what is there not to like about this company? As always, please leave some comments in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe so we can keep on bringing you more and more videos, and hope to hear from you soon. Peace.